Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming and Southern Mail on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of NeveN, A Ket's Path. So yeah, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome awards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. Good morning. This is the one I had. Yeah, this is it. Okay. I completely forgot that I asked him to sleep here with me. I'm really not meant to think in the morning. The cat looks away with embarrassment. I can hardly make fun of him for that. But the effects of his presence are already noticeable. I haven't slept this well since I got here. Maybe I should ask him to be my living pillow more often. I can see how the Falcon might find it awkward, though. I doubt he's used to that much affection given what he told me about his past. Sorry about that. I wasn't totally awake. It's okay, but can you turn around, please? I think I'd be more comfortable if I was fully dressed. Oh, yeah, sure. Just pretend I'm not here. I roll over on the bed, turning my back to a kid as I realize I can't hold back a small smile. We've just slept together, admittedly with a bit of a peculiar awakening, and he's still uncomfortable with the idea of me seeing his bare chest. It's kind of cute. Ellois, I was wondering, did you sleep well? Me? Like a baby. Thanks for that, by the way. Oh, I didn't do much. You were there, that's all I can ask. I was just worried that, between everything that's happened in today's council, you wouldn't really get any rest. Oh, right, the council. I almost forgot about that thing, and Melbourne wants me to come by and see him, too. I have a feeling it's going to be a long day. Night's rest will come in handy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit worried, but hey, it's not like I can do anything about it, so there's no point in stressing. Are you sure about that? Absolutely, you have no reason to worry about me, okay? In fact, you know what? To show you how much we have nothing to worry about, I promise you that tomorrow we're going to take that walk in the city we talked about. I may be getting ahead of myself here. After all, the kings could very well decide to go back on their word, but this kind of promise will undoubtedly reassure a cat. And to be honest, it probably reassures me too. Really? Hey, I promised you. I thought with the contest and everything else you forgot about it. My dear, I never forget the promises that I make. Not anymore, anyway. The Falcon gives me his best smile, and it's hard not to imitate him. There's at least one of us who seems optimistic now. That being said, I'd probably better hurry up. I'm not sure how long Melbourne's lesson to prepare me for the council is going to take. Unfortunately, I need to go. I think I'd better not keep our favorite prince waiting. Probably not. And besides, it's better that you're as prepared as possible, isn't it? I guess so. All I know is that I'm going to be at the center of attention at this council. I don't really think I can do anything to change my situation. I'm sure they wouldn't make a decision without consulting you. From what little I've learned being here, that doesn't seem to be their approach. I can only smile at the Falcon's candor. He's not wrong on paper, but I'm beginning to understand that things are probably more complex than that. After quickly dressing and getting ready, I finally leave the room, ready to go to Melbourne's quarters. Ay. Then mindlessly I walk through the corridor, still under the curious gaze of the nobles. It's obvious that they are not interested in the royal bard, but rather the curious beast and its unique brand. I stop for a moment, the urge to flip them off severely tempting me, but finally I decide not to. I think the prince has enough to worry about to add a rude bard to his list of concerns. I'll behave, at least until I'm in a position to do what I want. Finally, after walking through the less crowded corridors of the castle for a few minutes, I arrive outside Melbourne's room. I had mentally prepared myself for Gillian's presence, but he is obviously busy elsewhere. So I take a deep breath and knock on the door, whereupon the prince's voice rings from inside. You can enter, it's open. That's surprising. I thought the prince could be more suspicious than that. Anyway, I'm not going to complain, at least he's approachable. I walk in and offer a big smile to the grizzly who is standing in front of a large table. He gives me a serious look, to say the least, and I try to mimic it so as to not appear too casual. At the same time, I allow myself a quick glance around. The prince's room is strangely not as richly decorated as I would have thought. Well, glad you made it in time. We have a couple of things to discuss so you understand exactly what kind of situation you're getting into. When you put it like that, I feel like a dish ready to be served. That's pretty much it. Everyone wants a piece of the Wonder Rabbit. I let out a chuckle, but I feel my heart isn't in it. The bear points to the empty chair beside him and smiles at me reassuringly. There's nothing to worry about for now. You're under our protection. That's part of my concern. I don't know what the exact cost of this protection is. And I'll do my best to make sure this council goes well. I sit next to him and do everything I can not to play nervously with my fingers. Alright, there's one rule that could save us both a lot of trouble. Every word that is spoken during this council will carry enormous weight, more than you can imagine. That's why I'd like to talk to you. That's why I'd like you to talk as little as possible. It would be even better if you didn't talk at all, if you were able to. I might as well be dead. No, Ellois, let's avoid that kind of thinking. You know very well that you can face the terrible opponent that is your own tongue. I thought I was invited to give my opinion. Melbourne's embarrassed expression quickly makes me realize that this is not exactly what he had in mind when he suggested I should come. I clearly need to go into detail. A little less than politics will do you good, to understand the situation we are in. I listen, arms crossed, vexed that the bear wasn't totally upfront with me from the start. You'll have allies on this council. Aeon, Lusk, and myself will be on your side. I have serious doubts about that. But there will also be people who represent other powers in Frostfang. Powers that are normally our allies, but who may well change their minds depending on what is said. You already know two of the people who will be at this council. Vol will represent the cult of the 12, while Astrid serves as a representative of the old nobility. My eyes widen when I hear these names, and I think for a moment that the bear is joking. But from the look on his face, it's clearly not a prank. Are you sure you want me to come? You're taking me to an execution, not a small council. Those two don't like me. That's an understatement. I know they may not be very cordial, and Astrid is clearly not happy about losing the contest without even participating, but... It's like, one at a time. I fucked her fiancé. For a moment, it looks like the bear's jaw is going to drop as he just looks at me with squinted eyes. I can't tell if it's reproach or misunderstanding in this case, but I'd probably better explain myself very quickly. Come on, he was flirting with me. I didn't know he was in a relationship. I only found out when she walked in the bedroom. The prince is speechless for a moment and rubs his eyes, sighing heavily. By the gods, Ellois! At least tell me you didn't do anything shady in the temple. Well, I've never been caught doing anything shady in the temple. I think it'd be better if I didn't know anything more. When I meet Melbourne's eyes, I know exactly what is going through his mind. He's wondering why the gods chose Ellois of Skarna, the rabbit with the least self-control in this world, to give him such a unique brand. Don't worry, big guy, I'm asking myself the exact same thing. Well, anyway, I assume she wouldn't be on your side. The other nobles probably chose her to represent them on purpose. But I don't understand, aren't you supposed to be on the same side to begin with? The old nobility is composed of the tribes that ruled these lands, before my fathers confronted them and forced them to form one nation. I think you can see why they have some difficulty liking us, although things are starting to settle down with the new generation. Astrid is young, and it doesn't look like she resents you any less, if you tell me they sent her on purpose. The grizzly rubs his eyes once more with a sigh. She never openly exhibited hostility towards the crown, no. It's specifically towards you that she has grievances. If Melbourne is the Prince of Frostfang, he's also the king of understatements. That said, it is not impossible that some of the nobles will seek allies outside the kingdom to regain their independence. Fortunately, most of them are aware that this would essentially mean the Empire of Makad would dictate the laws in our lands. But we should remain cautious. It's not very healthy to be suspicious of your own. What are you recommending, Blind trust? I shrug and scowl. What do I know? I would agree with you if I had the means to settle things as peacefully as possible, but we're not in a position of strength. Far from it. What exactly does the old nobility want from me? If your power was in their hands, they would surely try to secure their independence both from the kingdom and from our neighbors. In other words, I would be a tool of war they would exploit for their claims, right? I think so, yes. And the cult of the 12? They've been trying to impose stricter rules in everyday life for years, not to mention that the most fanatical of them think that suffering is necessary in this world, that it is of a divine nature. I think back to the boar who smashed his hand with his hammer, and I wonder if he's one of the fanatics Melbourne is talking about. Then why did you send me to them for training? From what you tell me, it sounds like a bad idea. You need to understand what they want from you. They have just as much interest in you being trained to use your brand as we do, since they want to exploit your powers. But they'll see what I'm capable of. Indeed they will. That's why I would suggest that you keep as many surprises up your sleeve as possible. Once you know how to activate it, they don't need to know the details of your powers. But neither do the royalty. Something tells me I better practice on my own, away from prying eyes. And you said I didn't know everyone at the council yet. Who's left? Edwine, the Merchant Guild representative. He's recently returned from a business trip. Well, at least it's someone I haven't wronged yet, I think. That doesn't mean you should trust him immediately. I don't know if it's Melbourne's natural distrust talking, or if he's trying to show me that he's my only ally. Either way, it's not working. Not for what Vakad told me about the nobility. That old squirrel is quite curious. Too curious for his own good. If you ask me, he'll probably try to get you to talk. Filling conversations with a whole lot of nothing is part of my job, and I'll know how to answer him without telling him too much. Perfect. I don't know his intentions towards you yet, but he likes money, and some information is worth a lot of coins. I have to admit, listening to you, it looks pretty intimidating. I don't feel like I have many friends here. I don't intend to show you that it's going to be easy, Ellois. That would be a lie. It's a good thing you're apprehensive. It means you understand how important this situation is. This does not make it a pleasant situation. Are there any other death traps to avoid, or will I just have to survive 3 predators looking for my every weakness? Even if it's meant to be a humorous quip, deep down I really do feel trapped. This is not what I had in mind when I came here to become a royal bard. But the bear lets out a slight chuckle as he stands up, obviously less worried than I am. Fortunately for us, that will be all. But it's already enough trouble to worry about. That said, I'd also like to bring you some good news, minor as it may be. I have to say that any good news is more than welcome right now. I've asked our tailors to get to work so that you and a cat will look presentable for my birthday. You should have a new formal outfit to wear very soon. I am doing my best not to show that I'm surprised by this attention. I can't wait to see it, and I hope it will be something that will highlight my perfect body. The prince laughs again and nods. I particularly emphasize the fact that you like to show off, but that is also a utilitarian outfit, not just made for parade, so don't expect feathers and jewels. Feathers aren't my thing anyway. I want other people's eyes on me, not on some accessory. Perfect, you should like the outfit then. I don't doubt it for a second. I wouldn't dare question our prince's taste in clothes after all. Milburn raises his eyes to the ceiling and struggles to look serious again. I'd love to spend a little more time fooling around with you, but I have to get ready for the council too. Is that a subtle way to tell me to leave? I would indeed appreciate some time alone. In that case, my prince, I shall take my leave. See you in a few hours. The grizzly nods to me as I walk out of his room. Once in the hallway, however, I cannot help but let out a long sigh. Despite my confidence in the pleasantries at the end of this conversation with the prince, a certain uneasiness tightens my chest. I know most of the people who will be on the council, and some of them clearly do not have my best interests at heart. The question arises as to whether their grievances towards me will be more important than the interests of the kingdom, and whether the interests of the kingdom and mine align. Alright, y'all. Last couple minutes, let's make it count. Standing in the hallway, worrying won't help me. I have little time left before the council meeting, so I should probably take the opportunity to eat something. As I walk back toward the central staircase, I see the now familiar figure of a lizard leaning against the wall, watching me inquisitively. Well, you don't seem to be overflowing with joy this morning. Good morning to you too, Tannock. Pleasure to see you as perceptive as ever. I just say things as I see them. Is it the council that puts you in such a state? Oh, so you know? It's not exactly a secret that the council is meeting, and given the situation, it's not too hard to guess what the meeting is about, even if I'm not personally invited. To be honest, I thought you'd be part of it. You're a politician after all, aren't you? I'm primarily a foreigner. Some matters only concern the kingdom, and I have no business sticking my muzzle in. He doesn't seem particularly bothered by it. I think, however, that he would like to know what's going on in there. To be completely transparent, it's just for you that I am here. I suspected that our good prince would want to have a talk with you, so I was hoping to bump into you on your way out. Oh, really? I'm honored. And why would Mr. Ambassador want to talk to me? To help you a little, nothing else. You're new to this political game. You'll get eaten up if you don't know what you're doing. Unfortunately, you don't have time to learn by making mistakes. And you're going to give me some advice, right? If you'd allow me to. You said it yourself, you're a foreigner. It could be a ruse to make me serve your interests. I say this in jest, but Tannock seems to take it seriously. His eyes widen for a brief moment, and he smiles with a proud expression. Ah, looks like you know the basics of the game, after all. Excellent way of thinking. It was supposed to be a joke. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access for not safe for work content as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!